The Aftermath, every Sunday morning from 6 o'clock on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
Got James Sully Sullivan. He's a man who knows what he's talking about when it comes to NRL. Good morning, Sul.
Hello, Marty. Hello, Brad. Morning, listeners. How's everyone?
We're going all right. Yourself?
Oh, very well, thank you. Yeah, really enjoyed the footy. I can handle this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every week. Oh, maybe not, Brad. Maybe not.
No, we can, Sully. Don't worry about it. Any danger of getting any high scores in the rugby league?
There's been a couple, hasn't there? Let's score 50. Oh, especially Anzac Day. Holy dooly. Oh, well, you know, at the end of the day, we saw the Titans win their first game of the year. Desi Hasler. 13's lucky for some.
Yeah.
That's a good win.
That was a big
That's a good win over there in New Zealand.
Yeah.
New Zealand now, the wheels have fallen off a little bit. That's 3 in a row. Losses. And it was interesting listening to their coach, Andrew Webster, and he just said he was gutted. And that's the bottom line. And then, as we know, I will say one thing. How good are the ceremonies in the sport, lad?
Brilliant.
Brilliant. And last night, I really, really did enjoy. We'll get to that, but I did enjoy the Townsville one last night. Very special, as we know. It's a garrison city, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Townsville, and one of those. But then the big one, of course, at Allianz Stadium, where we all expect New Beauty St George got out of the blocks quick, scored, and then we've been waiting. We've been waiting for this Roosters side to go clickety-click, and holy dooly. Sam Walker came back into the side and just, they let the ball talk. Dom Young as well back into the side, just scored 60 points against the Dragons. Oh.
Yep, and then
awesome. And the Storm just batted up just to give it to the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, well, as we know, the Rabbitohs were 0-18 going to Melbourne. They're 0-19 now. But, this Melbourne Storm side doing what they've got to do. A little bit of a concern about Xavier Coates, Marty.
Yeah, how bad is it? Hamstring, isn't it?
Yeah, not 100% sure. Won't probably know till it all comes out tomorrow. But it said the hamstring by the looks of it. He scored 3 tries, as we know. Pappenhausen, geez, I tell you what, he pops up early, doesn't he, Pappenhausen? I think that's his second, maybe third, first try score this season. So he grabs a double. I was waiting for Cameron Munster to put on a show. 3 games into it, he did. He was very good, and it just adds the stress to the Rabbitohs. But I'm still willing to give the Rabbitohs a little bit of break because, as I said, they've got a lot of injuries. They've got blokes suspended. But this Storm side, I'll be honest, Brad, at the start of the year, I wasn't sure where they were.
Yep.
But once again, you just don't doubt him, do you?
No.
You do not doubt Bellamy, and you do not doubt the squad he's got. And I said to Marty last week, a bloke called Remus Smith's not getting a mention. But he's been outstanding for them. So, it's a massive weekend coming up. Some great footy as well.
It's 4 on the bounce, I think, for the Storm now, isn't it, Sul? And then the Sea Eagles, 32-18, a little bit too good for the Eels.
Yeah, the Eels have got to remember that football's played in 2 halves. For the last 2 weeks, they led the Dolphins in Darwin at halftime. What about this score? They led 14-6 at halftime against the Sea Eagles. And someone woke the Sea Eagles up at their home ground at Brookvale. I still call it Brookvale. I struggled with saying 4 Pines. Sea Eagles, massive win. Eels, they're in a bit of struggle. And I tell you what, there's a few high-profile personalities over here, radio personalities. I don't think like Brad Arthur, the Eels coach. So he could cop another hammering. And we saw the Broncos did what they had to do, the old Campbelltown Stadium. Do you think the West Tigers, do you think they might turn around and say, let's not go back there? That's 10 losses in a row at Campbelltown Stadium. They keep packing the joint, but they keep getting beaten. But, Broncos did enough.
You just feel the Broncos on a good run at the moment. What are they? 4-1 last 5 games into 5th position with a big green arrow. Here they come.
And you know the funny thing about it, and when you think about it now, there's a bloke called Ezra Marm. We all know how big he was in the grand final, and Selwyn Cobbo, who didn't play last night. Oh, that green arrow, it's going to go up, up, up.
As you mentioned, up at Townsville, Cowboys 20 getting beaten by the Panthers 26. Tell us about the match.
High-quality game of footy. Nathan Cleary comes back. Cowboys start slow. 18-4 at half-time they led. And then all of a sudden the Cowboys, as we know, when they let the ball talk, they can score points and score points quickly. And all of a sudden we thought at 24-20, Here they come, the Cowboys that set it up beautifully, a penalty goal late in the match, and the Panthers hung on. Defensively, magnificent performance from the Panthers. Cowboys, Todd Payton, I had to listen to his interview last night. He dropped the old F-bomb, boys. He couldn't. Poor old Toddy. He said, I'm sorry. Yeah, but he was gutted, and that's the bottom line. He said, at the end of the day, it's no good saying, okay, we had a good second half and we played well. We need to start winning games of footy, and at the moment they're not. But if they can get that formula from the second half, but yeah, Panthers will be happy with that, going up there and taking the 2 points.
Okay, what are we doing today? The Dolphins are $1.45, Knights $2.75 at 7.5 the line. Total points 45.5. Then the Raiders need to bounce back. They're $2.65. The Sharkies are $1.47, 6.5 the Raiders plus, and the total points 44.5.
Yeah, well, this Dolphins side at the moment, they average 28.5 points a game. So it's a big, you know, at the end of the day, we know they can score points, and they've got some really good cattle out at the moment. Big cattle out for the Newcastle Knights is Kalen Ponga, gone for we're not sure how long.
What for?
Is it the season? Is it? Sorry, Marty?
What's the injury?
He had it's a lower foot injury. It's underneath the sole of your foot. So he's had surgery, and they're talking 3 months. And, you know, we all know what happened at the back end of last year when Kalen Ponga went on that run, which eventually led him to win the Dally M medal. They're 3 from 10 when he hasn't played. So, mate, I like what I see from the Dolphins. They keep just throwing the footy around. I know they've got to recover from Darwin as such, but they get a couple of days to do it. So let's do the fins up, Brad. We'll go, what are they, minus 7.5, Marty? We'll take the Dolphins there.
Yep.
The next game, how about this for boys? Ricky Stewart becomes only the 5th coach in the NRL to coach 500 games. Not bad when you think about it. Bennett, Tim Sheen, Brian Smith, Craig Bellamy, and Ricky will coach his 500th a day. Bit going on at Cronulla during the week, boys. Of course, Dale Finnegan retired, and then Braden Trindle. He's been good, Trindle. I think he's a big, big loss. Mate, plus 6.5, the Raiders. Well, we might have a little double there, eh? We'll go the line, Dolphins minus 7.5, Raiders plus 6.5. We'll go there. It's about $3.80.
Yep.
And then Jake Averillo from the Dolphins to score into Hudson Young, $7.50. Now jump on our specials at Tab Touch. Hudson Young just to score in that try, you get a nice price. There you go.
Okay, all right.
Beautiful.
So we're giving the start Dolphins. We're taking it with the Raiders. That's $3.80. And then Averillo and Young, the anytime try scorers at $7.50.
That's the one, mate. That's the one.
All right. I've got a text here. It's from Larry. He says, ask Sol who he thinks at this stage will be the premiers.
Oh, Larry, that's a great question. At the moment, you'd have to say, I mentioned them earlier, the Broncos. Penrith will be thereabouts. Have they got the artillery out wide to win a comp this year? That's an interesting... If you ask... Okay, I'll name 3. There you go. I'll go Brisbane, Penrith, or the Storm.
Yeah, so their favourites, Penrith, $3.25, Brisbane, $4, Melbourne Storm, $5.50. You'd say that market's got it right, that the winner would have to come from those 3?
Yeah, what price are Roosters?
$11, next best.
Yeah, if you want to have a double-figure play, that might be worth it.
Geez, you like you've got a soft spot, haven't you, for them, the Roosters? Could they go into your boys'
Marty,
category?
Marty, you know, and Brad, as a child, 1975 hurt me. I was a St George supporter, and the Roosters beat St George 38-0 in the grand final. Now, and you remember that, Brad, the great Changer, Graham Langlands, the white boots.
Langlands.
The
Changer.
white boots. Oh, never wear white boots. Anyway, I don't really like the Roosters, but if they click, we saw it on Thursday, sorry. If they click, that's the key.
Okay.
Tell you, it sets it up beautifully, though, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Yeah, sure does. What's it set up for?
Sets it up beautifully for a wonderful final series.
Oh, yes, it does.
Serious.
Yeah. Okay, so...
But I'll tell you what else it
Give
sets
him the
it up
program,
for.
Marty.
I know. I'll tell you what it does set it up for next Friday night, where the Broncos take on the Roosters at Suncorp.
Oh.
Now, that's what it sets it up for.
Go the Broncos, Sal. Thanks for coming on the program. We'll listen to you on Thursday with the boys on the Sports Daily.
Hey, boys, have a cracking Sunday.
He's a beauty, James Sully Sullivan. So's this man, Adam Smithson's up next.
Racing. First away, Sunset Peppy. Leads Sunset Nightjar. The inside, Kanan Stark. Myaniki Boy, Sunset Tyson. Emerald Guard, Sunset Comanche. And beaten for early burn was another James. Sunset Peppy a length. Over Sunset Nightjar. Here's Kanan Stark zooming through. Myaniki Boy rails strongly as well. Kanan Stark hit the lead. Myaniki Boy's getting room on the rail. Myaniki Boy hit the lead. Sunset Comanche flies, but Myaniki Boy has won the Mandurah Derby impressively by 2 lengths. Kanan Stark or Sunset.
Terrific win there by Myaniki Boy on Friday night in the Mandurah Derby, and Adam Smithson's going to tell us all about it. Very good morning, Adam. No, hello, Adam.
Hello, you got me now?
We got you. We're just saying
The replay, Adam.
Yeah, I heard that, and then it cut out, so I've got you now.
Yeah, certainly have. What a win that was by Myaniki Boy. He looked to be in a bit of trouble. Has he always been a good railer, the horse? The dog, sorry?
Yeah, he has. That's sort of the issue with him off the sticky drawing box 6 and a bit of speed around him. It was always a query whether he'd get to the rail or not. But no, I thought we were in a bit of pain halfway down the back straight.
Well done, Adam. Congratulations. But he's obviously a dog with good tractability. I mean, he worked it out himself. It was beautiful.
Yeah, look, he's one of those get to the rail at all costs sort of dogs. So he's got a massive heart, and he's got plenty of ability when it comes to Mandurah. I don't know what it is. He just loves the track, and if he gets a spot and clean running, he's awfully hard to hold out.
Track and distance stats, 6 wins from 7 starts.
Yeah, that's the thing with him. He just I can't figure out what it is. His runs at Cannington aren't bad, but he just loves that 488 start at Mandurah.
Yeah, you find that with greyhounds a lot. I know horses as well, but you do find it with greyhounds a lot that love one particular course over another.
Yeah, it's quite common. I don't know what it is the last few years, especially my kennel. I've found there's a big segregation between the dogs that do like Mandurah and dogs that do like Cannington at the moment. So it's a bit bizarre, but it is what it is.
Possibly drawn a bit awkward, as you say, out of the 6 box, which has been pretty good for the major races in recent weeks, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We had one on last week as well, come out of box 6, but he wasn't forgotten in the market, so, yeah, you must have had a little degree of confidence about him.
Yeah, well, he's a fast dog. He's a very, very fast dog around Mandurah. It was just a matter of where he sat after the first 10 metres, and as I said, it wasn't ideal getting shuffled back, but he found the rail, and as soon as they shifted off the rail turner for home and he had a bit of room, I thought, well, he's probably one of the stronger dogs in the race. So, yeah, we sort of just shut our eyes for the first 20 metres and try and find out where he ended up.
So how do you place him going forward?
Oh, well, he gets a couple of issues if he goes around Cannington. So ideally I'd like to head to the WA Derby at Cannington, but we sort of have to see how he's pulled up after Friday and whether we do or don't go for Cannington, because since the Perth Cup heats, he's just every time he's gone around there he's had a little niggle, but touch wood, he's pulled up pretty well and he's going well enough to go for the heats. So we'll sort of play it by ear with him. He's a bit of a funny dog when it comes to Cannington.
Okay, so when are they the heats of the WA Derby on then?
2 weeks time. 2 weeks time. So hopefully I can take him up there and give him a look and just trial him on his own and see how he pulls up, and that'll decide if we go for him or not.
How many dogs you got in the kennel there, Adam? It sounds like they're having a party behind you.
Oh no, I've got 26 in the kennels. It's just the kennel area where I live is full of boarding kennels, so there's quite a few dogs spread out over the couple of streets. So it's a good alarm clock anyway.
Adam, so is he the best of your kennel, or have you got better than him?
No, he'd be the best. He'd be the best at the moment, definitely. There's a couple of handy dogs there that are sort of a bit older than him, like Honestly too, and that. But she's probably coming to the end to wind down. But no, he's the good thing about him is I feel like I've had him forever, but he's still a young dog. So no, he's probably the one with the brightest future.
And looking back, from the Western Trilogy and the Sandgroper last week, it's all been run and done for another 12 months. But from a trainer who didn't have the winner of the Sangropa or runner in it. What are your thoughts of it? And you must be looking forward to be involved next year.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. The goal is to try and get a dog that's going good enough at the time. But no, I think it's great. The eyeballs it's bringing to WA Greyhounds is fantastic for the industry, and it's just one of those things. The more people we can draw into it, the better. So no, the concept of it's great, I think.
Well done, Adam. Congratulations, mate. Enjoy, and see if we can calm that kennel down there behind you, son.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I'll be whacking the headphones on.
There is Adam Smithson after that win of My Anarchy Boy. You're right. On Friday night in the Mandurah Derby. But on Friday night, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sixes out of 10 races.
Unbelievable. What price that?
Wow.
666 to 1?
Kenny Caliber. Time for a break. Yeah, it's almost 25 minutes away from 7 o'clock. Oh, what do your man Leo say?
Not really.
Doing a bit of moonlighting. Chris Nelson. Hey, Chris, a very good morning.
Good morning, Marty. Good morning, Brad.
Hey, Chris, I heard you.
Chris.
Hang on, Brad. I heard you referred to as the voice of Brisbane racing a couple of days ago on Melbourne radio. The voice.
You know what?
You've made it.
You're wrong. You're wrong, Marty, because it actually says Queensland racing. Brisbane racing.
Sorry, mate. The whole lot.
Now, Marty and I chuffed this morning. Marty and I chuffed this morning because we've got 5% of each and of the quaddy yesterday at Eagle Farm. So thanks to you.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Well, no, we didn't, but you put it on, didn't you?
Jeez. I say anyone that found that winner of race 8 yesterday needs an absolute medal. And it paid. I think I looked on Tab Touch this morning. It paid was it 167,000?
Yeah, unbelievable, incredible.
Yeah,
it started off. It started off in the Great Mick Dittman Plate and Tiger Shark up stage. What's happened to some of these favourites returning?
Well, I can tell you that Skirt the Law pulled up lame in the off hind legs, so we have to forgive her.
Mm-hmm.
Abounding was a pass. Sofrado was a pass. They never looked like winning, but they were okay, considering 1,000 metres is not their go. Tiger Shark just got out in front, and they just couldn't get past him. He was too good. And look, he has got some good form going back to previous preparations, but he was backing up from last week and didn't run well at all. So it was a bit of a shock, and that did start the shocks, but there was a good run there, guys, and you would have seen it, hip, hip, hurrah, getting along the fence. Now, interesting, we've had Eagle Farm meetings the last few months, especially the last couple of weeks, where the fence has been a no-go zone, and everyone's come down the outside, and they've avoided the fence like the plague. It seemed to be the place to be yesterday. There was more winners came through along the inside section than the outside. So, I don't know. It's hard to work it out. But Hip Hip Hurrah was obviously one, and I know Nathan was keen on it yesterday in the preview, so he almost got the money there. And if not being held up early in the straight, or not for being held up, probably would have won Hip Hip Hurrah. So definitely worth following over further.
Yeah, just before we leave that race, would it be fair to say Bailey Wheeler's having a good run?
He is. He's with Rob Heathcote now, not with Annabelle Neesham anymore, and he is having a good run. He's riding very, very well, and he wasn't far away in a couple of other rides yesterday. He got that winner, but he wasn't far away. Vlad Jurek had 3 yesterday.
Yeah,
he's going to be the new pin-up boy of Brisbane racing. I'm sure of it.
On to race number 7. It was just a benchmark 85,000 metre race, but Shalah's moment for Nikita Berryman getting the money.
Yeah, and I just wanted to touch on this race because there was a good field going around here, Marty, and your old mate,
he was good. He was good.
He was good, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Now, he got through along the fence, and he was making good ground along the fence. He ran officially 5th beat and only just over 2 lengths. So he's been off the scene due to an injury, but he looks to have come back well. Shalah's moment, she's a really good mare. She's won 3 from 3 this prep. She won first up at Ipswich with an amazing late burst over 800 metres, and then she's come from the back of the field to win successive races at Eagle Farm. So she's going really well. Samu did a good job at odds to stick on. I thought Blue Spinell was a good return. She'll take good benefit from the run. A couple out the back there, Bazik, who was well fancied, sat 3 wide, no cover, over race, so we forgive her. Vodka Martini was a little bit disappointing, and Frilled was very disappointing. Jimmy Orman said that she never travelled one little bit, and that last trial of hers suggested she might not be going that well. So all honours with Shalaz Moment.
You mentioned in dispatches with Bailey Wheeler, Annabelle Neesham. Well, she made it the Annabelle Neesham show in race 8.
Oh. I don't know. I just don't know how you could find this. I mean, that just shows how bad some of our stayers are up here, or middle distance horses, and they are pretty ordinary. We're talking about Wapiti, June 45, those particular horses. It took these two from who didn't have bad form internationally, but that first up run in the George Ryder, I know it was a Group 1, but it was awful, but has turned that round and absolutely killed these. Third last in the run. Ryan Maloney saved good ground on the home turn, but this horse was really travelling into the straight. And look, you run this race 10 times, I think you probably win 9 of them the way he won it yesterday. So all honours, Mighty Ulysses. I'll be interested to see what the form does out of this race, whether it stacks up or whether it doesn't. I don't think I'll be following too many of the beaten brigade. Old Jimmy Starr, he's proving a bit of an enigma, isn't he, guys?
Yeah, he came on the scene. You thought, wow, this is going to be a group horse, this one. And, he's lost his way a little bit, I reckon.
Do you think David Fowler may have taken the $1.75 Jimmy Starr? I don't know about you, he said. I don't know about you.
He's a great caller, David Fowler.
I love him. Absolutely love him.
Too.
Calls with passion.
And he does, and you pretty much do know what horse he's on, and certainly if it gets beaten.
He's out of that George Grillisich mould, that is for sure. Race number 9 was a Princess Stakes over the 1600. It was Waikato Girl for Michael Freedman, as you said. Vlad the Impaler Jurek gets a treble. Amazonian Lass into second, and Firestorm was third.
Yeah, so all the interstate fillies come to the fore here. Peer Pressure ran fourth, another one from interstate. The only local to finish in the top 5 was Exotic Miss, and she sat wide all the way, so she was game. So I don't know about some of the others. Waikato Girl comes out of that Adrian Knox, the 5th winner to come out of that Adrian Knox. So there you go. That's been a really strong form race, and will only improve as the distances get over, or she gets over more ground. Amazonia Lass was first up. Very good effort, beating an eyelash. The eye catcher had to be Firestorm. Chris Waller and Mark Duplessis had to change course there at about the 200-metre mark and was 4 lengths off them, has cut that margin back to less than half a length on the line. So heading towards these other races, or heading towards these lead-up races to the Oaks, such as the Bracelet in a couple of weeks' time, and going forward from there, she's going to be very hard to hold out, Firestorm.
Let's roll down the highway to Rose Hill, and speaking of the Tab Highway, Matty Dale's unearthed one here.
I reckon he has. I really like this one. Martini Mama won 3 from 4, just sat off them, and once asked for an effort in the straight, well, away she went. She was very impressive, and look, she was impressive winning those races out in the country, and she's brought that form to town. I know it's only a highway, but, you can only win, and when you win impressively, you keep following them, and that's what we need to do with her. She's just a winner, and she's very, very game and very, very honest. So I'll be sticking with Martini Mama going forward. Probably the win of the day.
How about Rider of the Day? Was it Natural Willow Race 7?
Well, I thought it was, because I've always had a bit of time for Hard to Say. He always runs good races. He's in better class races. But the problem was yesterday he drew 12 of 12. And there was some speed in that race. So I thought, well, he's probably going to be lucky to... he's the best horse for mine, but he's going to need a ton of luck. Well, Nash took that out of the equation right from the start and just took off from the gates, crossed and led, challenged in the straight, but fought strongly to fight back and win at $10. So a good result there for Natural Willow. A really good ride. That ride definitely won the race.
And slightly off Broadway, but you found one at Kembla Grange in race 6 from the Waller camp.
Brad, I was just watching the races yesterday, as I do each Saturday, all over the place, and there was one caught my eye at Kembla. Yeah, race 6, Pippi Beach. Now, she's a 3-year-old filly, only having her second start. Chris Waller in the ownership, and the trainer, of course, as you mentioned. The last 50 metres, I love the way she found the line. She won, but she was moving clear of them, and then that last little 50, she put a little space in them. She'll appreciate further, and I just thought she might be one we might see up here in Brisbane over the Carnival. Now, it was only a maiden, but I reckon she's got upside written all over her. So Pippi Beach, that's P-I-P-P-I-E Beach. Follow her.
Lovely action. Lovely action.
Okay, so exactly. We go to Eagle Farm again next Saturday. You've got the Queensland Guineas, the Victory Stakes, Dalrello Stakes. It's a pretty good meeting.
Yeah, it's the actual official start of the Winter Carnival next week. And look, the 10,000's only 2 weeks away next Saturday. And, of course, the Saturday after, we go to the Sunshine Coast for the Hollandale, not the Gold Coast. That's been changed. I'm sure you know that already, though.
Okay. Just trying to get up the favourite for the Doomben, 10,000 at this stage. Doomben 10,000, here we go.
Probably I wish I
win 350 overpass at $5. Espiona at 6 in Secret 6. Private Eye at 8. Sunshine in Paris 11. So that's the sort of field we're looking at with Marzoo, Osmosis, Uncommon James and others in the field. Any thoughts at this stage?
I wish I win. I think I wish I win's one of the best sprinters in the country, so hard to go past, I would say.
All right, the voice, I should have had a bit of Johnny Farnham for you. we need some winners for today then.
Found anything at Rockhampton?
Well, I have, because I'm the voice of Queensland and not just Brisbane. I've spread my wings far and wide. So Rockhampton today, we've got a $750,000 race, the Archer. Race number 7 today. It's a slot race. But I'll give you race 2, number 5, Devil Kick. Race 3, number 2, Bold Comic Each Way. And race 8, number 4, Touch of Gracie.
Well, tell us about the Archer. This has got me intrigued.
It's in my multi. Yeah. It's in my Sunday Saviour.
My horse is in it, Straight Acer, 2:30. Does he win it?
He probably does. He is the one I've got on top. He gets a lovely run and he brings the solid form. So you would think he would, yes.
Okay. Yep. Now, I missed the middle leg of your treble today. It was race 2, number 5.
Race 2, number 5, Devil Kick.
Yep.
Race 3, number 2, Bold Comic Each Way.
Yeah.
And race 8, number 4, Touch of Gracie. Looks the best bet for mine in the last race.
Beautifully done. We'll tune in Wednesday on the Sports Daily and get some more Queensland action off you.
Exactly.
See you later, mate.
Guys.
All the best.
Have a good day.
He's worked hard to get that moniker as well. Don't worry about that, Brad. Straight Acer in this race, 1,300 metres.
Oh, I'm with you.
Nice big long straight there at Rockhampton will suit him.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't take him up there for fun, do they? So I think it's. I'm with you, Marty. It's the last leg of my Sunday Saviour for a little later.
Okay, text line, and then we'll take a break and catch up with Racetrack Ralphy. He'll touch on Adelaide as well. But morning, Marty, Brad and team. Happy Sunday. Yes, it is. It's beautiful to be alive. West Coast Fever, another win last night to keep their undefeated start to the season. Congrats to Janelle Fowler. Nem Brown, what a star. 50 goals at 100% accuracy. And her 8,000th goal in the competition. Brad.
She is a star.
She is a star. Yeah,
she's been doing it year on year on year. And, it's pretty handy. You'd like to have her in front of the Western Bulldogs.
Brad, doggies, missing gettable goals. Bang.
Don't start
Let them down, and losing Waitman early didn't help. Freo fans up and about again after very quiet during the week. Brad, what are Geelong doing differently to be such a formidable side every season? Take care, enjoy your day and week. Everyone go the Mighty Eagles. That's Lisa of Allenbrook. A very good morning, please.
Well, credit to Chris Scott because, he's doing a lot of teams are professing to do, and that is to build and still win. And they've got a lot of young blokes coming through. Dempsey, the two boys, the Henrys, they're going well. Grahame Myers has jumped out of his skin. Wow. I mean, he's playing high half forward. Yep. He's getting 20+ and setting up goals left, right and centre. Jeremy Cameron, we know, is a star. Stengel's having a really good year. And then you've got those low centre, Bruin, these sort of guys, Holmes. College Asdy's, gone forward as a defender, like in terms of gone forward in his progression. Now, without Tom Stewart yesterday, but they didn't get caught up because Carlton are very, very good stoppages and getting scores from stoppages. And they sort of halve that a little bit, but their rebound game is very, very strong, Lisa. That's why they're coming good. Oh,
they get on their bikes and fly, don't they? I thought, and being at the G on Thursday live and again watching a couple of games, geez, the umpiring I've never seen it worse. And the umpiring in that second quarter in that match, Carlton and Geelong, was what were they doing? It was like they said, well, we're here for Geelong to win.
And the one that's really concerning me is the incorrect disposal, Marty. I mean, we've almost become the Western Force. Get ball, tackled, just dropped to my feet, No attempt to kick the ball, no attempt to handball the ball. I get that. The rule says as long as you make an attempt, Well, they're not even making an attempt. It's just, okay, we'll drop it to our feet. We know that's going to happen. Marty's going to drop it to his feet. Let's get in and get it. That's how it appeals. It's almost like a scrum feed.
We'll get some more footy talk going between 7 and 8. Time for a break. Racetrack Ralphy's next.
Sunday morning, Tab Radio Racing and Sport is turned on, and you are listening to the dulcet tones of Marty Young and Brad Hardie on the Aftermath.
About to head off to Melbourne now, catch up with Racetrack Ralphy and review that meeting that came in from Caulfield. We got you back. You've let the dog out, Brad, or what?
Oh, yeah, Coco's gone out.
Coco, the wonder dog.
What she does. What she does.
Yeah, well, whatever she
dumpling.
does, let her do her best. The meeting there yesterday, Caulfield, of course, highlighted by the showdown, $1 million race there for the 2-year-olds. Racetrack Ralphy joins us. Very good morning, Ralphie.
Good morning, boys. A bit of a tricky meeting, this one, every year, because, there's really well-weighted horses, apparently, and they get rolled.
Yeah, good on you, Ralph. No doubt about that. I'm just kicking myself. I like my little novelties, the first fours, and I put Pony Princess in second, third and fourth, but I found a way to win.
I stayed out of the race, but I made a good case for it on my stuff, and it was there. Look, I'll tell you one thing with small stables, sometimes you get a big over. And this horse was poor first up last time, but it was on knee-deep mud at Moe. So it was nothing to do against it not being able to go well first up. And this was just its second prep for Grahame Begg. So he's really good with recruits, and it was dominant. But I think as an overview for doing this meeting, just keep in mind, boys, that there was a real strip. You didn't want to be more than 4 off the fence, which was complete opposite of last time. And I know last time rail 2, this time rail 4, but normally when the rail's 4, it's easier to get out to the wide lane.
Yeah.
So something's going on with that track. I know Caulfield pretty well.
Yes, you do.
and normally when the rail's at 4, you'd want to be on those that are sort of blending in 5, 6 off. Instead, it was the opposite. It was those closest. So when you're doing your replays, I'll pick out a few like Tiffany Valentine that if they were out super wide, they just weren't advantaged at all.
We want to have a look at Adelaide with you as well. So why don't you work through this meeting at Caulfield, pick the eyes out of it. Away you go.
Yeah. Easy. Well, Albanian I am won easily, but won a terrible race. I wouldn't be in a hurry to beat that. Race 3 on the program, well, this was one of those ones where Pounding looked the right horse, but super wide, tempo against, was out of play. I would say Bel Toro's ready to win the right race. Yesterday wasn't his right race. He's $21, but he's early in his prep, and now he's had this mile run. He's going to be hard to beat. And Falcon and Malta gave a good side as well. So good on Nick Ryan and the team with Bel Savara. It's also, I'm pretty sure, a stakes place, but it was... it sort of had its right set up yesterday and got the money, but I would say Bel Toro in the right race from that. Race 4, again, the inside lanes were in play. Papillon Club was probably the one disaffected. Extra 2, beautiful ride, following the leader. Race 5, boys, this is one I think was to make one of the best horses to follow the day. It was a good thing if you just were able to put aside the fact they hadn't won for a while, and that was Berkeley Square. And Luke Curry, this time of year for sure, when, the so-called best, well, they're not the so-called best, they are the best, are interstate, someone like Luke Curry just fills up. Thought he was fantastic, Berkeley Square.
Yeah, yep.
More to come.
Yep.
In race 6, the Guineas, pretty plain form, but they got big prize money, good on them, but that was the Bendigo Guineas form, Elphinstone and Modown. Again, I stress, I reckon on a different type of Caulfield, Modown gets past Elphinstone, but yesterday those that made their own luck or had tactical speed were advantaged. But I'd be pretty wary. This was a big go through the day, and God bless it to Who Dares. It just had superior form and I mean recent form, to the others, because horses like Semyon still chasing his first win since his 2-year-old days. Jigsaw chasing his 18-month-old form. Ray Magnerio's been up since Brad played footy, and the astrologers had plenty of goes. Barry Spike in the Newmarket since returning overseas, and General Bow missed the start. So the one who's in the zone is Who Dares, and he's another one of the winners we can follow with a bit of confidence. And then in the last few, there was the controversy, Bowl Bastille being a late scratching, but I'm not sure he would have won anyway. She rather out to 1,200 metres. Stanley Express, a big go, and they got the money there. Last 2 races, again, wrong setup there, but Hedge was hugely backed because of so-called well-weighted, etc. It didn't turn up. Acid Wash missed the start. Baby Dick didn't turn up. And Daniel Moore, beautiful front-running ride. Just got off the fence, about 3 off in the right spot and couldn't get past. The last race there, when they put the money on these boys, they're very good. Nick Ryan again and Edison. That's how it wins its races. It gets ridden with aggression, and it was never going to get beaten. Again, I want to underline this is probably one of the horses to follow for the day, if not the horse. And that's Jimmy the Bear, just in an impossible position. But this is fast run, 1,400 metre race. It's going to be absolutely ready, and old King Magnus is going to be running well at Flemington again. But yeah, as an overview before we get to Adelaide, certainly horses to follow with a bit of confidence. Berkeley Square as a winner, Jimmy the Bear as those that didn't win.
Bel Toro?
What's that?
Bel Toro, did he go in?
Yeah, Bel Toro in the right race for sure. I mean, he's a good off-season 1,800, 2,000 type horse, and he's ready for sure as well.
Ralphie, it was Adelaide's time to shine there at Morfordville, and they didn't let us down. And I suppose one of the highlights, we're going to hopefully we are going to speak to Michael Kent Jr. That was a tough win by Vibrant Sun.
It was, and I heard the post meeting, so I was unaware it missed a run. But it's. The only query for mine was not so much the class, but it came off a very soft tempo mile. But as it was, I don't think they went overly hard here. The data's not through here, but if you look at the overall time, 2:04 and the 36.6 split. So it just won. Enormous ride and near miss for a Private Legacy. But again, unfortunately for the card was fantastic, but just going to say, you can't be presenting a track like that on your big day. Like, that was just... The inside 10 lanes were poisoned. I mean, and now that they've got, I think, prize money secured, not being political here, but they've just got to put some investment in the tracks. The curator probably did everything possible, but you can't have such a fence-off day as it was. So that made it a bit of a raffle. It was a bob of the head three-way. Vibrant Sun, excellent training performance, like I said. Mark Zara again. Private Legacy brought some Sydney form. There was enough to say that put in the right race, it was going to run well. And Coco Sun is just airborne, so it just missed there as well. And Wings of Song's been up for a while. Don't think the Kiwis are overly strong, so the one that was in the zone in the right spot was Vibrant Sun and just got the bob in. I don't think it's an overly strong Oaks, but I don't think the connections care about that.
Okay, what about the Robert Sangster? It was Climbing Star. This time it did come up on the inside of the runners, learning to fly. Launch looked like it was going to run past him, but Lockie Neindorf, good on him, gets a Group 1 there in the Robert Sangster on Climbing Star for Philip Stokes.
Yeah, I was just watching his interview then with Bruce McAvaney. He made the point there was only 2 South Australian jockeys in the Group 1s, which I wasn't aware of, and now he's added to Todd Pennell's win there, so good on him. And yeah, got up on the inside, but if you watch the head on, he's
off
probably
the fence.
10, 15 lanes, 10, 15 lanes off the fence. So,
yep.
And that's what happens. There tends to be an overcompensation. Look, this mare's always shown a little bit of talent, and its run was super. I do a Black Book product at this time of year for South Australia, and I just thought, well, how are you going to turn the tables on Benedetta? But, it's only a game of inches. There was a head between them, and Benedetta was good as well. So, and probably, barrier one there. Daniel Stackhouse had to do the right thing, pay the percentages and get off the fence. And as you said, in the meantime, Learning to Fly just launched, and then Neesham just underlined what a great trainer she is, and targeting races. A few of the favourites just didn't turn up. I think, and this wasn't impossible to see as far as Estriella, that, she was aimed at 2 big prize money races at Flemington, smashed them, and then, they had to try and keep the soup heated on the stove and just sort of peaked. I think we're going to see a serious mare this spring. I Am Me didn't really turn up. It was okay, but not at her best. And Zapateo, certainly it was friendless in the betting and ran accordingly well below her best. Her and Passive Aggressive peaked in their Sydney runs for sure. But Climbing Star, I think, is one a nice addition, but I don't think it's overly strong as far as that, because a couple of those favourites, it sort of, as I said, didn't turn up or had peaked.
Before we get a few more to follow, Ralphie, Queen of the South Stakes was a good race. The Paddy Payne stable's finding form again.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you where Paddy's so good. If he hasn't got a superstar, he'll just say, righto, let's target the off-season. Let's target Tassie and the stakes races there. And this is the case here. So with Adelaide, he's got this horse to peak. Black booked it from Caulfield. It was a terrific run there. Just missed on the day, and then's gone on with it here. Beautiful ride, Billy Egan. And again, barrier one's no problem if the whole pack is edging off the fence. You can get in that right spot. Lady Jones as well. Her run with Bendigo was terrific. So really, it was just a case of when they were in the right spot and they're walking up front. 1:30. I'm going to full data, but the raw time 1:38 for a mile, and they've dashed home 34.5. There were some horses out the back that just had no chance, and what you can underline there is there was big money for Foxy Frida, no chance against the tempo, and also Also, Foxy Cleopatra. I wouldn't be if there was a 2,000 backup for Foxy Cleopatra, she'd take a power beating for sure. But it was a good, strong race, but unfortunately, there was just no tempo in it.
Talking about Paddy Payne, I think he's got the South Australian Derby winner next week. Bold Soul on the backup.
Well, I was going to mention that race. I think it could be Warmonger, the favourite.
Okay.
I just wonder if Bold Soul, and again, what a fantastic trainer he is, but he has been up for a while, whereas Warmonger's got that set to peak about it, and what it's done there, it's third up. So Bold Soul's been racing through the summer. It was out the back. I know it was advantage out super wide, but the just race shape was dead against it again. 206 and home at 35.6. So I think it could have done much more Warmonger, and I reckon set to peak. It'd be interesting what Mick Kent Jr. says to you later on. The other one, just of note worth mentioning, Skybird, big stamp on her last spring, and then a real huge elevation yesterday with some market support. I think it's going to have a lot of wins in store for it, that filly, Skybird.
Thanks, Ralphie. We've got to get to the news.
Good on you, boys.
The Aftermath, every Sunday morning from 6 o'clock on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
But we're about to catch up now with Kate Gath, following that brilliant drive on Catch a Wave in the Retrovision Fremantle Cup on Friday night.
The back straight, Catch a Wave is coming with a big run. 28.6 the next quarter, and Catch a Wave has raced up. Minstrel look gone. Catch a Wave has sprinted up to Jumping Jack Mack, who needs to respond. And then Minstrel, Penny Tiger around the turn. Catch a Wave looks like it's a double here for Kate Gath. She raced up, took the lead. Penny Tiger's getting out. Jumping Jack Mack is fighting on. And then Hot and Treacherous. Catch a Wave in front from Jumping Jack Mack. Penny Tiger flies late. Catch a Wave in front. Catch a Wave as well. Catch a Wave first, second Jumping Jack Mack, third.
Well, Brad, what a campaign this has been from Catch a Wave. Andy and Kate Gath. We had Andy on the program last week. We've got Kate this week. A very good morning, Kate.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, what about that? The Fremantle Cup on top of the Nullarbor. I reckon it was a terrific drive first off, Kate, but a gutsy win in the end.
Yeah, no, it was. I sort of had to press the button pretty quick when I went four wide. I was a little worried about being caught wide on the corner if horses pulled out underneath him. So I went pretty quick when I went to sort of get up outside of them straight away, and he was able to do that. And it was a really good effort by him.
Yeah, Kate, congratulations. Well done for the past 7 days. It's been absolutely outstanding for you. Yeah, I admire your patience, because I think I was thinking exactly the same. What you know, that, you want to go, hang on a minute. But then in the end, you probably were forced to go down the back, weren't you?
Yeah, I felt like I was forced to go then. Tenzing Bromack was just sort of dropping back in front of me and wasn't sort of taking me anywhere. And I thought, if I don't go now, I'm far enough back as it is. So I sort of had to force to do it then, and luckily it paid off.
Yeah, you looked to have them covered, didn't you, in the straight? Then Jumping Jack Mack wanted to fight back on your inside, and they were coming down the outside. Were there concerns over the last 50?
Oh, look, I'm glad I was at Gloucester Park with the shorter straight. But, full credit to the leader, Jumping Jack Mack. It's, sort of put the speed on the whole way and just kept on fighting on. But, yeah, obviously it wasn't quite good enough. But I think, he was sort of holding them okay at the end, Catch a Wave. And he was entitled, I guess, to be, getting a little bit tired, having to be sort of run flat out from probably nearly the 600. So it was still a really good effort.
Question without notice. Last week, Marty and I spoke with Andy, and he was loving Perth. Where are you today? You in Melbourne and Perth? Where are you?
Yeah, no, I'm back in Melbourne. I flew back. I was on an early flight yesterday morning to get back for the races here last night. So I'm back. Mm-hmm. I think Andy's in transit now. I think he's currently on a flight back here. Okay. So he had to organise a few things yesterday before he left. But but it was great. Love Perth. Was a country girl, raised a country girl, and I like those cities that are, not as busy as Melbourne and Sydney, and it was a really nice place to be. And we had a great time, and everyone was so lovely and so accommodating and welcoming, and the people there were just great.
Hello, satellite stable in Perth, perhaps?
Probably a little bit far for that, but it's very different the racing there compared to what we have at home. But Catch a Wave just loved the speed on. We rarely have the speed on like that the whole way over this side of Australia, and the races are normally bit walkathons at times and a 26 quarter home. So he just loved that racing, and it was just all turned out perfect for him in the end. And he just really appreciated that speed on the whole way and just mowing them down. So, hopefully it entices other people to go over there now. Really exciting racing, and it was just great to be a part of it.
Okay, now I heard a little whisper that there could be another race for Catch a Wave over here, and he could spell here. Is that right?
I'm not sure. The problem was we haven't been able to find out when his flight home was, so they still haven't given us a return flight home. So he'll just have to stay there, and Greg and Sky, they're so lovely, and they'll look after him for us until he can get back. But he'll have a little spell now, and then get ready for the Len Smith Mile.
Okay.
I think it's in September.
So no more runs. Definitely, he's just going to have a little bit of a break until he can get on the plane. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. He raced 3 weeks in a row, so we probably don't need to keep racing him. So, but we won't give him too long off. I don't think he needs a long time off. He looks terrific still, and I don't think he's done any harm. And I really hope that it can help him going forward.
Question from a novice, Kate. You had me tricked a little bit because if I recall correctly, you were in blue silks last week, and this week you're in a different colour. What happened there?
Oh, so because it's a medal board, you have to race in the slot holders' colours.
Right.
So that's why. And then, this week he's had on his owners, the colours he wears for his owner. So it's an R and a P, and it's for Richard and Pauline. So obviously Richard passed away, but the name of the owner. So so we had to wear the slot holder colours the first time. They're a little bit big, but I thought I was going to fly away at one stage. But but so that was the difference in colours there. So it was good to be able to win a race, in the owner's colours as well while we were over there.
So the whole experience for you just would be overwhelmingly in favour of the Nullarbor and the Fremantle Cup, where we've put the Fremantle Cup now?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Although maybe the Fremantle Cup could go a week before the Nullarbor, because I felt like the Fremantle Cup after it was like a bit of a, anticlimax.
Okay.
But either way, running the races together, I think it's a great idea because, it also entices, for us, not only did we have the Nullarbor, we had a $300,000 race on the week after that we could go in as well. So I just think it's a great idea running them together and over those two distances. And it was just turned out, perfect for us in the end, and he didn't have any trouble getting the distance.
Absolutely outstanding, Keith. Brilliant done. Fantastic week for you. And on behalf of Marty and I, you're welcome in Perth anytime you like.
Oh, I'll be back as soon as I can. Thanks, boys.
Good on you, Kate. There she is, Kate Gash. She dashed home last night to Melton as well for a couple of seconds. Long way to go for 2 seconds, Brad, but that's racing.
What about Andy? What about Andy's form? I've just got a couple of things to do.
Yeah.
A couple of things to clear
up. Got to keep it on the horse.
Only been here 2 weeks, but just got to...
Hey, we've got plenty of texts to get through. 0427 789 571. One long one here from Snoz. I'd rather address that one later after we talk to Simon Hill, who'll be coming up in just a bit. I heard a report this morning, Brad, in the rugby union. I think it was the Hurricanes beat the Western Force, who've been up and about a bit to this season. 7-6 in one of the lowest scoring games of rugby union ever.
Well, yeah, that is extraordinary, isn't it? It's unusual. We saw one of those with was it the Storm and Penrith earlier in the year? It's in the rugby league, but it's not really the vocation for rugby union or Super Rugby. It just hasn't started. That is rather low. We'll have to get to the bottom of that, Marty. That is low, very low.
And just talking about it too, being over in Melbourne, the Rebels. I tell you what, there's quite a few of those fans floating around. They're up and about.
Yeah, they've gone through, obviously, trials and tribulations financially, and a few of the high flyers have hit the deck, and that's still ongoing. So they're trying to keep that afloat, trying to sort of create or construct a way to keep them going and going well. But yeah, it's a hard sport to crack in. It's like the Force over in the West. I mean, the Force do a fantastic job with Twiggy, bankrolling them pretty much. But they're always on the front foot. They're always sending out media releases, etc. Where over here, you don't really hear much about the Rebels unless they're in trouble, which is more often than not. Whereas the Storm, who've well and truly been established here for well over 20 years now, they do it really, really well. And Matty Tripp and the team down there, they're making money, they're winning games, they're winning flags. They've got arguably the best coach in the competition. They're fantastically behaved, the Melbourne Storm. I mean, very rarely do you see a Melbourne Storm player make the news for doing something dumb or something stupid. And you see them on planes. I don't fly much anymore, but I remember flying, to do games, and they'd be in Sydney too, playing games. And, mate, they are so well mannered and behaved. It's quite remarkable. Because when you think about league, you think bullfeds, mongrels, but no, they're outstanding. They've got a terrific, let's face it, that word culture, but the culture for the Storm is winning.
Yep, that is for sure. Simon Hill's a winner. He joins us. A very good morning.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Well, let's run through the EPL. West Ham and Liverpool 2-2. That's a bit costly for Liverpool, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd imagine that's the end of their English Premier League title hopes. They've had an awful couple of weeks going out of the Europa League, losing at home to Crystal Palace. During the week, they lost the Merseyside derby, and despite dominating in the second half against West Ham overnight, they couldn't get the win that they needed. It leaves them playing catch-up now and really reliant on both Arsenal and Manchester City dropping points, which at this stage of the season, there's only a few games to go. I don't think it's realistic. And all compounded by this on-field row. I don't know if you've seen this, slightly off-field row between Mo Salah and the manager Jurgen Klopp. Salah's preparing to come on late on, and there's some sort of verbal exchange. What it's about, I don't know, with Jurgen Klopp. Got pretty heated, and as he walked through the mix zone afterwards, a journalist obviously wanted to speak to Salah, and he said, if I speak, there will be fire. So things are not well at Liverpool, and Jurgen Klopp's tenure as boss is ending on a low note. They have confirmed this week that Arne Slot, who is the current manager of Feyenoord in the Dutch Eredivisie, is going to replace Klopp. Liverpool have paid Feyenoord $9.4 million in compensation. So he'll be there next year, but they are ending the season as a team in a little bit of disarray.
Highlights of the next three: Wolves 2-1 over Luton, Fulham and Crystal Palace a 1-1 draw, and Newcastle spanked Sheffield 5-1.
Yeah, that's a result that confirms Sheffield United's relegation from the Premier League, despite them taking the lead actually after just 5 minutes. But Newcastle blew them away. Another couple of goals for Alexander Isak. He's now got 24 for the season. Newcastle handily placed to qualify for Europe again next year. But Sheffield United are down. They'll be in the Championship next year. When you concede 97 goals, as they have done, then probably no surprise that they're heading down. Fulham won, Crystal Palace won, mid-table end-of-season game. This one, Jeffrey Schlupp with the highlight, with an outstanding long-range strike to earn Palace a point after Rodrigo Munoz had put Fulham in front. They're 4 unbeaten now, Palace, actually, under Oliver Gazner. They've got Manchester United next, and they'll enter that one in confident mood. And was the other game you mentioned Wolves and Luton?
It was Man U and
United, yeah, United and Burnley. More drop points at home for Manchester United, and quite how Erik ten Hag survives next season, I don't know. He's even started banning journalists from asking questions at his press conferences, which is always a sign of a manager under pressure. Another below-par display from United. 2 players who've underperformed for them this season. Anthony got the goal, which seemingly given United all 3 points. And then goalkeeper Andre Onana, inexplicably coming for a cross, trying to punch the ball. He instead connected with Zeki Amdouni, the Burnley player, and VAR confirmed the penalty, which Amdouni tucked away. So more angst for Manchester United. And Burnley still not quite out of the battle to stay up. They've got Nottingham Forest to come on the final day of the season. They've got 2 tough matches against Newcastle and Spurs before that, but they're only 2 points from safety. If they can stay within 3 points of Forest, then that final day showdown could well decide which club goes down to the Championship next year.
Just back on Man U, would a win in the FA Cup save the manager or not?
Possibly. Obviously, they are in the final against Manchester City, which is a tough game for them to win. But if they were to win the cup, that might just stave off the sack. But I think generally it's more the fact. It's not the fact that they're not necessarily winning games. It's the nature of their performances. They look like a team without a plan. They're so disjointed. And there's no consistency about them. They can beat the best, as they did with Liverpool in the FA Cup quarterfinals, but they can also lose or draw to clubs like Burnley. No disrespect, and I think United fans were probably hoping to see more progress from their team this season. They just haven't had it.
Quick Everton and Brentford 1-0. Did we cover that?
No.
Everton all but safe now from the drop. 11 points clear the drop zone. Idrissa Gueye with the only goal. That's the 3rd straight win for Everton, 3rd straight clean sheet as well. So they'll probably be in the Premier League. They'll maintain their spot in the top flight, which they've held since 1951. Brentford will probably be in the Premier League as well. They've had a tougher second season in the top division, but they should still be safe.
Yeah, it's been a disappointing season for the Bees. I know we talk about depth and injuries, etc., but I think, they just haven't been the same team second year in.
Yeah, and I think the loss of Ivan Toney had a big part to play in that. Obviously, he's back now, but he had that long ban for betting irregularities, if that's the right terminology. And, a second season is always going to be tough. They were so good last year, Brentford. They've got a very smart manager in Thomas Frank. They've got some good players, but squad depth has been an issue this season when they've suffered injuries. And, apart from the clubs in the top 3 or 4, the rest are always going to suffer if that happens on a wide scale, and that's happened to Brentford. But they'll stay up and look to go again next season.
Just before Marty takes you through the 3 matches scheduled for today. Tonight, Aston Villa 2, Chelsea 2.
Aston Villa suffering a bit of a setback in their bid to finish 4th. Spurs are now the ascendancy. Even though they're 7 points adrift, they've got 3 games in hand on Villa. Spurs play Arsenal, of course, which we'll come on to tonight in the North London derby. And that 2-0 lead could be fatal for Villa after blowing it. Mark Cucurella with an own goal after just 4 minutes, giving Aston Villa the advantage. Morgan Rogers making it 2-0 with less than half an hour to go. But Noni Madueke and Conor Gallagher making it 2-2. And Chelsea even thought they'd won it in stoppage time. But VAR ruling out a goal for a foul on the Villa defender. Bad night for Aston Villa. They've also got a big doubt over the goalkeeper, Emi Martinez, ahead of their Europa Conference League semi-final first leg this week. He went off with injury, and as I say, it's now Spurs in the box seat for the top 4. OK,
so let's have a look at these. Bournemouth, Brighton, 220. 3.85 the draw, Brighton at 2.95. Spurs at home, 4.60. It's $4 the draw, $1.70 Arsenal. And then Notts Forest, 11, 5.80 the draw, Man City, 1.27.
OK, let's run through those. Bournemouth and Brighton, the South Coast derby. I think that's probably right that Bournemouth are the favourites. Brighton have got slightly the better league position, but they're another club like Brentford who suffered horribly with injuries at the moment. And they've won only 6 of their last 27 Premier League games. Only Sheffield United have got a worse record than that. So I think the Cherries, who are looking for a top 10 finish and to beat their record points haul of 47, they're only a couple shy of that. I think they will get the win in that one. Tottenham Arsenal is the big game, of course. Arsenal top of the league, coming off the back of a 5-0 win against Chelsea, but they need to keep winning because Manchester City are breathing right down their neck. And this is probably their toughest game of the fixtures remaining. Spurs, though, have only won one of the last 6 North London derbies, but they will be buoyed by that draw for Aston Villa. So, possibly there's some value in the draw in that one. Derbies are normally tight. And Nottingham Forest against Manchester City. Obviously, Man City are going to be strong favourites. But, Forest have got a decent record against City, at the City ground anyway, and their manager, Nuno Espirito Santo's won 3 of his last 5 against Pep Guardiola. So there might be a shock there. City, though, 30 games unbeaten. Logic suggests that they will go there and get the 3 points that they need against a team that's, still haunted by relegation.
Let's go to the A-League, and 4 fixtures on Friday, Saturday. The Adelaide United 4-3 over Raw keeps their hopes alive, but probably the main one was the Western Sydney Wanderers 4-3 over Victory. Again, just to give themselves a shot at the top 6 anyway.
Geez, this was a game.
Yeah. Just to correct you, Adelaide can't make the top 6.
Right. Sorry, I thought it was
on Friday.
Right.
Yeah, because it's a 27-game season, so they're out of contention. But, we saw some crazy games across the weekend. 2 4-3 wins for the away team, and that win for the Wanderers is massive because their season was over had they not won last night. They had to beat Melbourne Victory. And even that doesn't make them safe in the top 6. They're there at the moment, but that can change if Melbourne City beats Western United today. And it looked for all money as though their season was ending rather tamely. They were trailing 3-2 with 17 minutes to go. Aidan Hammond got an equaliser, and then Oscar Priestman, a very unlikely source. I think it's his first ever goal in the A-League with the winner with just 3 minutes to go. So they've got a nervous 24 hours ahead. They'll be watching that Melbourne City Western United game today. The other games, the 2 Premiership chasing teams were in action yesterday. I was in Newcastle. Central Coast Mariners just keep on winning. Amazing, really. 2 late goals from substitutes Harrison Steele and Ryan Edmondson. They're on track for an unprecedented treble, Premiership, Championship, AFC Cup, which they're in the final of. So that means that they now just need a single point from their final game of the season, which is a rearranged fixture because of their AFC Cup commitments against Adelaide on Wednesday night to seal that Premier's plate. Wellington Phoenix did their part of the bargain yesterday. 15,000 watching them beat Macarthur 3-0. But the coronation was not to be, and I think the Mariners will get the point they need on Wednesday.
Okay, let's have a look at these games to come up. And today, Perth Glory's season ends, doesn't it? Sydney FC, $1.33, yep. $5.75 the draw, Perth is $7. And then the game you mentioned earlier, Melbourne City, $1.36, draw $5.30, Western United $7. Both favourites win?
They should do. I think Western United, with respect to Perth Glory, are more of a chance of getting the result at Amy Park than Perth are at Sydney. It looks to me as though, Perth can't wait for the season to end, which thankfully for them it will after today. They've conceded 16 goals in their last 3 matches. It's been a horrible end to the season. I think there's going to be an off-season of huge upheaval at HBF Park. There'll be a lot of players coming and a lot of players going. Sydney need to win because they could potentially get a home final. So it's a big game for them as well. I think Sydney will win that one. The other one, a little bit more of a question mark against it, but City should be too strong. They know what they have to do. They've got to beat Western to finish in the top 6. They've been in great goal-scoring form of late. They hit Perth for 8, the Wanderers for 7. A massive win over the Wanderers in Parramatta last week as well. So I think Melbourne City will get the job done and complete the top 6.
Thank you, Simon. We'll do it again next week.
Cheers, guys. All the best.
Simon Hill, as he does every Sunday. Brad, just some NBA scores in the playoffs, of course. Orlando at home, 112 beat Cleveland, 89. OKC away, 106 beat the Pelicans, 85 currently. Now, this is live on ESPN. Boston, 72, leading the Heat, 53. And the game to come is Denver v the Lakers in LA. That'll be live at 8:30. So a little bit of NBA action to you there. I want to get to this one, Brad. From Snoz. Good morning, Marty and Brad. I've come to the conclusion that the holding the ball rule must go back to the way it was. When you are tackled, when you have the ball, you must dispose of it by hand or foot in a given time. 2 to 3 seconds, if not reward the tackler. No prior opportunity rule must go, also reward the tackler. This will make it so much easier for umpires. P.S. Do away with stand rule, most unfair. The ball carry gains at least 10 to 15 metres and nominating 2 rucks can go. Umpires can see that 1 from each team contests the ball up or throw in. This will assist the crowd's understanding of the rule. That is from Snoz.
No, he's on the money. Spot on, Snoz. And look, I'll give you a couple of instances on both of those, mainly with the stand rule and the incorrect disposal. Now, Aaron Norton, I think late in the game, you were there, Marty, he got swung around almost in 360, 720 and somehow released a handball. That's gone. That is dead set gone. You've had your prior. Yep. You can't go around ring-a-ring-a-rosy twice. And there was another one where Aish received a kick, probably on centre wing, broadcast side, and the Bulldog player is forced to stand on the mark. Now, he didn't adjust himself, Aish. He was 10 metres on a 45-degree angle away. The bloke had no chance. It was just I'll just walk down the ground and kick it long to the goal square. This has got to stop. And there was a 50 against Montempelli. There was 1 against Darcy and Walker. Again, they're not impeding the player with the ball. They're sort of swapping positions or they're leaving the area and they're pinging them. It's just it's so frustrating, Marty. I agree with Snoz. They've got to, we've got 4 umpires out there. We've got to get it right.
Brad, the one in the Carlton-Geelong game was the killer.
Yep.
So Cripps and Mackay thought Cripps was on the mark, so he left. The umpire said no. I said Mackay, and Cripps is standing on the mark. What does it matter? 50 metres goal, and they kick the next 4 goals, Geelong, from that.
It's too pedantic. I mean, the players have tried to drill themselves, haven't they? Okay, I've been outmarked or whatever. I've got to stand the mark. Okay, get it. But this is just you're saying it opens the game up, but actually, in part, it ruins the game. That's what it does.
All right, here's one from Gary. Hi guys, Gold Wolf for South Australian Derby. Have a look at its run at Caulfield 2 weeks ago. Hard to beat. What did you think? Can you remember that run, Brad? You're a keen Melbourne student.
I remember. Yes, not without a chance, and it would be an excellent chance. So, who was that from?
Gary, with 2 R's, so like a Gaddy line.
Well spotted. Well spotted.
Morning question for Brad. Sydney Swans at the line today, 18.5. Do they look good things? That's from Benny.
Yeah. Look, as I say, I just want to see. We saw something, and again, a confidence builder against the Kangaroos last week for Hawthorn. Sydney got to start winning at the MCG. They're just going to find a way. They've been humbled a bit, at least recent outings. So they should be. I think on face value, yes, they should be. They're at least a goal a better side than Hawthorn. So that's 24. So they should be covering that line, I reckon.
Just having a look at the betting for today. Gold Coast $1.16, West Coast $5.20. It's 33.5. Total points 167.5, and then, as we said, Hawks 3.20, Sydney $1.35. That's 18.5 the line, and over under 169.5. Your thoughts on those 2 games?
Yeah, well, I think it's a bit disappointing after half-time last week, the Gold Coast Suns, but I really like what Hardwick's got them doing. They're going to be pretty hard to beat up there. West Coast are on a bit of a roll, but you're taking a lot of your impetus out of it. Barras down back, helping out McGovern, and Harley Reid, of course, being managed. And I think everybody's sort of a little bit perplexed about that one. That one looks like a Don Pike decision to me. Word has it that, I think Simpson wanted him to keep going, but they're looking at the longer game than they are the shorter version of it. So Harley's over in the east, having a little bit of a love up with his family. So that's an interesting one. 6 games in, a bit remarkable, really. Some suggested they'll just explain it away. I was a little sore, whatever. Yeah. But again, the kids are kids, and as I say, Marty, I heard a couple of bizarre ones, from people who don't know, saying, oh, well, look, the plane doesn't fly straight to the Gold Coast. It's got to go to Brisbane and they've got to get on a bus. He's 18, mate. he's not 80, you know. So all of these unbelievable conditions they come up with is just incredible.
Hi, Marty and Brad. Seems like the Perth Glory coaching staff are singing from the same hymn book as the West Coast Eagles when they are saying there have been a lot of positives that have come out of a disastrous season from Rusty Gates. Well, Simon Hill covered off on that, didn't he? He said it's just petered out. There's going to be mass changes at the end of this season, and we'll see what comes of it.
Oh, no doubt, and you throw my mate Ross Lyon into that one as well. He keeps coming up with those how positive, you know. St Kilda should have nailed Port the other night, Marty. You know, there wasn't only the number of personnel that went down for Port; it was the quality of the players that went down as well. You know, including Rosie, and really bad luck for Pal Pepper. Feel for him. Belated start to the season, as we know. Indiscretion in the pre-season. That wasn't good. So. That makes them vulnerable, I think, against Adelaide on Thursday night. I think yeah, for sure. So, the Perth Glory, I mean, it's really hard. I mean, it's just lost its way, and they've got to get some stability off the park naturally, and hopefully that will reflect on the park going forward. But as Simon said, they've just been absolutely belted to the bejesus, you know, with the amount of goals scored against them in recent times.
We'll take a break. Coming up next will be Michael Kent Jr.
They're 3 in front of Coco Sun, then Bond Mistress. Vibrant Sun in for the fight, regained the lead from Pulchritudinous. Vibrant Sun a half, 3/4 on Pulchritudinous. Then Coco Sun running on from the back, Private Legacy. Vibrant Sun, Coco Sun's having a last-ditch effort. Vibrant Sun from Coco Sun. Vibrant Sun held on. Vibrant Sun just in the Australasian Oaks from either Private Legacy.
Yes, it was a fighting win to Vibrant Sun in the South Australian Oaks there yesterday, or the Australasian Oaks, I should say. And Michael Kent Jr., co-trainer, joins us to talk about that win. Hi, Michael.
Morning, guys. How are we doing?
Tough win.
Extremely. Especially knowing she was only third up for the campaign. Was 5 weeks between runs. We missed the Auraria. We had a little issue, and we had to trial her instead. So knowing that, and then going straight to the front, she didn't go steady. She had a couple behind her, keeping her honest the entire race, and then had to sort of tough it out and fight off all the chasers. So it was a very, very gallant effort. Yeah, super filly.
Michael, Brad Hardie, congratulations, couldn't agree more. I mean, some of the overall time analysts are saying, you know, they didn't go. The pressure was on from the beginning. Obviously, had to get to the front, and as you say, at one point they're going past the 800. The two leaders, and the third horse was just trying to hang on. You were 3 and 4 lengths in front. They had their opportunity.
Oh, my word! Yeah, no, she was so game. Yeah, as game of filly as I've seen in our stable for a couple of years. She really, really pins her ears back and grits her teeth. And Mark even dropped the rein, unfortunately, and that made it even tougher on her. So, they didn't leave her alone in front. And it was on a day where it was hard to lead. I think, particularly over those staying journeys. They were all getting out wide yesterday, and we got off the fence, but probably not into the absolute best ground where the chasers came. So, yeah, huge win. And what about the stallion? He ran 1, 2, 3 in the race, which is incredible on the back of also winning the Sydney Oaks.
Yeah, the Autumn Sun. Let's talk about this filly, though. You've always had a high regard for her. I remember when she won at Geelong, won that maiden by 7-8 lengths, and I remember you talking about her after that, saying, well, we'll throw her in, and you threw into that Group 1 Guineas at her next start.
Yeah, we were sort of forced to, weren't we? But it was on a 7-day backup, and that Caulfield track that day was very on pace, on fence bias. We drew wide and went back, and she was no show. We spelled her immediately, and it's been a beautiful program and team effort to get her here. It's been planned to go to the SA Oaks, the entire preparation. She was so good, second up in that mile Group 3, and as I said, we weren't quite happy to send her away to Adelaide and back for the third run. We gave her a trial instead. So to go there third up was huge. Always liked her. She's just got I remember the first day I rode her. I don't ride a lot these days, but I like to have a little sit on most of them early doors. You could just tell right away she had the most beautiful action. And so we've been speaking highly of her from day one to the owners. And Yeah, so cool. So she'll probably go for a spell now, and look forward to the spring, I suppose.
Michael, take us into the mounting yard prior to the race. Obviously, it's great when a plan comes together, isn't it? But do you give much instructions to Mark Zahra, or do you let him go? And obviously the fence, as you said, was off. Was he acutely aware of that?
Oh, no doubt. Well, he was aware. He sort of started the trend, Mark Zahra. Race 2, he went straight to the front on Growing Empire, down to the fence, then came out about 10 off the fence and won by 5. So he started the trend, and that's why you put these big jockeys on in the big races. Mark is just an absolute elite rider at that top level, and we have so much confidence in him. We didn't tie him down at all, but we had a good chat with him the day before and the morning of on the phone, and so sort of the plans are already made. I suppose barrier 12 initially we thought was awkward, but then as the day panned out, it became a better barrier to be off the fence and out of trouble. And well, as it turned out, it wouldn't have mattered really. She went to the front, so it wouldn't matter where she drew. She's a very good beginner. But when you're talking to Mark, you just sort of leave it up to him. He rode her in the trial. He felt that he tried to restrain her that day in the trial, and he felt that was a bad thing. He said yesterday, I'm glad I had a feel of her. I wanted to let her stride, use her big action, and flow with her. And, that just all worked out really well. So I'm sure if she had a more economical run, she might have won more convincingly, but did it the tough way, and there were no excuses out in front.
Now, the Chairman's Stakes has always been a good lead-up to the South Australian Derby, albeit when it was 2 weeks before it. It's now a week before it. You ran Tulsa King and Warmonger in both very good runs. Both going towards the Derby?
Yeah, well, I'm actually here at the stable now, hence why I stayed the night. We got three boys, Warmonger. Yeah, well, it's unusual programming this year. We won the race 2 years ago, Jungle Magnate, and 2 weeks later won the Derby. But then this year it's a week back up. So the three boys are here now. We just had the vet out, jogged them up. They're all beautiful and sound. And they'll stay the week here in Adelaide. They'll go to the Water Walker and the beach and just have a nice cruisy week. So Warmonger's definitely our A seed. That was a huge run yesterday. Damien said there was carnage out of the barriers, and he was actually off the screen I couldn't even see the horse. He was off the screen the entire race, and Damien sort of lamented that he might have been better off just sort of piercing through and cutting through the field, but he made the call to go around them, and the horse was huge late. So he's ready to go for the Derby. Other two are lesser hopes, but hopefully Warmonger can get the job done in the big one next week.
Where'd you celebrate last night?
We went to Mosley's, is the place everyone goes. So obviously late, home by 10:30, and Adelaide's just buzzing at the moment. With Live Golf on, there's people everywhere. Yeah,
it has been, certainly has been. So what about What You Need, the horse that you ran in the John Hall Stakes over the 1100 metres?
Yeah, well, look, he was going to be a Group 1 colt, that horse. So I love him. He's a super talent, but he's had a number of issues, mainly being his throat. So he's not the same horse, nowhere near it. Still very proud of him to run him up to his best yesterday. But that's probably the problem. If that's his best, then it's going to be hard to see him win the Goodwood. We're going to give it a go. He's also got a sneaker run in with his rating. But he's such a good-looking, talented colt. It's just unfortunate that he's had a couple of issues.
Pivot City in the Tobin Bronze?
Awesome. Yeah, it was huge. Never had cover. Was wide and working from the half mile. Hit the front of the top of the straight. Was sitting duck. I think Blake said if you reverse, not taking anything away from Skybird, but if you reverse the rolls, like it got the card on the back of us. If we reverse the rolls, might have been a lot different. So he was huge, very brave, and they've all headed home, those horses, this morning. We'll work out what to do with him. He's got a lowish rating, so I'm not sure where he'll go. He's a well-bred colt by no single doubt, so we'd love to get a bit more black type with him. We'll just work out where that is. It's probably going to be interstate again.
Michael, our listeners are keen punters. You've mentioned Warmonger for the Derby. What about anything else in the next 7 days they should keep their eye out for?
You need to be following that horse England next Saturday. He's 2 for 2. He's the super talent. He won by 7.5 on debut. Less impressive second up, but race shape was totally against him. I think getting out to 1,400 metres, you might see a nice horse next Saturday at Caulfield.
Okay, that was a horse that won at Pakenham, England.
Correct.
Yeah, yep. Beat Truffle Finder. Taking a team at all to Warrnambool?
We'll have runners every day. We've got National Willer actually on one on Tuesday. Keitel is the favourite. Very competitive racing, and funny enough, they've had no rain down there. They've had about 10 mil in the last 3 months, and look, they'll keep it a bit juicy for the jumpers, so they'll be co-in ground, but it's going to be nice for a change. Like last year I was there, it was a heavy 15. They still ran them. It'd be good. We've got a few small chances, nothing in the majors.
Beautifully done, Michael. Very busy day for your stable. They've got a text in here from, who is that? Max wants to know, Hedged, does he continue to follow this horse?
I think he's very good. We probably, the Sydney, he got beat at Nostril in the $1 million Arrowfield, and coming back to Melbourne, that was always our fear that sometimes you can't tell as trainers that's what is taken out of them. And the 2 lengths he got beat by was probably the 2 lengths that was missing. We're just going to take stock. Either we freshen him and have a go later on in 3-year-old year, or give him a spell for his 4-year-old year. That's him. He's Group 3, Group 2 type sprinter. Moby Dick out of the same race, I think he's especially exciting. He was probably end of prep as well, but having his very first racing prep, so he's got a lot more upside than most. He's one to follow the next preparation for sure.
Thanks for your time this morning. Continued success.
No worries, guys. Thank you.
There is Michael Kent Jr. after a very successful day there at Morfettville yesterday, Brad. Text lines. Come on, Dougal's dad. What's the word on Big Bean? Uncle Lindsay only taking one to Ballarat today. Yeah, well, he's got them all lined up for Warrnambool Toddy. It can be around the place. Doesn't go too bad. A lot of WA owners involved with that horse as well. Well, who else we got here? Guys, another rule that definitely needs to go is the 666 warning. Fair dinkum, just award a free kick and get on with it. That's from Lisa of Ellenbrook. Yep.
Well, that's the only way you can slow things down there. You can't drop extra numbers behind the ball. You can't start off blue. It's the only way, and that's what they're doing. They're doing that deliberately. Then the ball gets thrown up, and what happens then, Marty, is that if you're losing ruck at that time and you're getting belted out of the middle, so to speak, you just cause a second stoppage and then it all falls apart. So you can just go wherever you want. So no doubt about that. One thing I wanted to ask you, you were at the game. I'm vigilant and vehement about the draw stays in home and away.
Yep.
It stays. What about you? You were there?
Yeah, it was. I got to say, it was one of the best sporting. The whole day, it was just amazing, and I'm not a bucket list guy, but I just wanted to go to one of them before I pass on this earth, and went there with nephew Sean.
I hope you're not going anytime soon.
Oh, you never know. There's no
Sophie.
There's no rules, and just the whole experience, the shrine, and then getting to the game, and I loved. Like, we went to the Cricketers' Arms beforehand. Yeah. And it's 50-50 Collingwood and Essendon fans in there. And the camaraderie and the banter, it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Get to the game. Sheeds have got us tickets, no different. Up there in the Ponsford stand, surrounded by Collingwood and Essendon fans. And from the off, it was just electric, to get away to a start like that. 5 goals to their 1, 6-1, 6-2. But you knew Collingwood were going to come back. We've seen that dance before. And they come back, and they then had a chance to run over the top of us, and we're able to steady, just hold a lead at half-time, and then in the second half it was always going to be that type of slog. And I've got to say, Brad, I was happy to take the 2 points home. It could have gone either way. Langford could have kicked the winning goal, and Elliott, after mark of the year, what a mark. He is one of my favourite players in the AFL, and I even like him even more after he dropped that mark in the last 40 seconds.
He didn't really but he went from hero to zero, didn't he? I mean, when you think about it, what a spectacular mark like that, and then the regulation mark, I call it the triangle arms. That's what you see down at the under-8s on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And what I mean is that you've got to have your elbows tucked in when you're going to take a chest mark. If you go forward and you've got your elbows flared out, it becomes a triangle shape, and it goes straight through. And he only needed to score, not a goal. He just only needed to score to win the game.
And he's done it to us before.
Just getting back to your point, that's why people from Perth should try to get to Melbourne. Because if you go to Optus, which is fantastic, not a bad seat in the house, it's pro one side or the other.
Which it was last night.
If you go to Melbourne, if you go to Melbourne, mate, as you say, Collingwood, Essendon, it's nearly 50-50. And that makes the atmosphere even greater, I reckon.
And after the game again, see, 93,000. You've got to put your head around that. That's 3 times the population of Kalgoorlie, right?
Yep.
Go in to the MCG and come out of the MCG, and you walk back to, a bar in South Bank, probably takes you 20 minutes or so to do that, and all that journey back, you're bantering with the Collingwood gang and it's just fantastic. It was magnificent, absolutely magnificent.
Put it on your bucket list, as I said that all along, and even the night before, that night one, and hopefully Fremantle in the future can get the Len Hall game on the night.
On the night, like they used to,
That's pretty important.
And we didn't mention that pre-game ceremony, but it is, you see it on TV and you feel it, but when you're there, and last night was great, they did a terrific job, but it's, 93,000, it's a little bit different, and I think the professionalism... I don't know how Monica got under their guard. Who?
I don't know how they got under Monica got under their guard, the ACT, because the game the other night was, Giants and the like. And
didn't talk about that one, Brad. We haven't got a lot of time, but Faig's in trouble?
Yeah, he didn't help himself in the post-match press conference. I don't know. I mean, and that's what it looks like. They certainly have failed to come up in the hunger stakes, I reckon. Their best is pretty good, but I'm not sure they're up for the appetite's up for the fight, at the moment. So they've got a lot of work to do, to be honest. And you just watch them and you watch their body language and you watch their frustration. They're getting inside Lachie Neale's head. They've worked that out, that he can be frustrated. Joe Danaher can be an enigma. Don't start me on Eric Hipwood. And, mate, they're talking about McGluggy's getting $1.3 million a year. Seriously?
Yeah.
Mate. Trade him out and get 3 blokes in.
They've lost a lot of speed out of that team, haven't they? Like at the moment, there's no Bailey. They've lost Ashcroft. I know he's been away for a while. Coleman off halfback. You've missed him. So I can sort of understand why, but I think there's a bit of a disconnect as well. Maybe that premiership window was last year, and that's it.
Well, he's done a great. They're not going to sack him because they've been up there perennially for the last 4 or 5 years, haven't they? They've won more games, I think, than just about any team in the competition. But we saw that with Port Adelaide in the early 2000s. That was similar to them. They eventually got one against Brisbane when they were going for the 4-peat. You just wonder whether it's going to come a time for Fagan down the track, not this year, but down the track. He'd want to be having them back in the title fight next year, that's for sure.
Giants were good.
Oh, yeah, they're great to watch. I mean, and to do what they do without not only Toby Green and Sam Taylor being in the best 10 players for them, those two are in the best 10 players in the league. So that was monumental. And don't forget Canelio. Canelio's back in some rare form. So you've got Toby Green, the inspirational X factor. You've got Sam Taylor, arguably the best defender in the game. And Canelio is a 27 disposal, couple of goals, and helps create a couple of goals. So they can only go from strength to strength. And that should be an absolute cracker next Saturday. I think that one is at the SCG, Sydney and the Giants. They call it the Battle of the Bridges. For the first time it is going to be.
Yeah, we've got all the derbies or home teams going against each other next week, so it should be very interesting.